Hey guys, welcome to the Bows. So today I wanted to talk about the championship main event for UFC 274, lightweight champion Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. So right now, Charles Oliveira is a minus 160 favorite, while Justin Gaethje is the underdog at plus 140. And in my opinion, this line should tighten the closer we get to the fight, but I don't know if it exactly will, because there seems to be a lot of belief in Charles Oliveira throughout social media this time around, which is kind of the opposite of what we saw with Oliveira going into the Poirier fight. So I'm going to try and break this down and see where both fighters have advantages and disadvantages. So in the stand-up, I think Oliveira's game is much more complete. Oliveira's game is more complete as a whole, but I'd argue that it's true even for just the stand-up portion of his game. Oliveira has very good boxing, throws nice front kicks up the middle, and throws very well-timed knees and elbows. His Muay Thai is excellent. When looking at Gaethje's stand-up, he's essentially a boxer who throws leg kicks, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not trying to say his game is limited, but he throws a certain amount of attacks and certain types of techniques in the stand-up that is just a few different things, but he throws them really well. He's exceptionally good at throwing very damaging leg kicks and has sharp boxing as well, and he hits super hard. So if the fight stays on the feet, who has the advantage? I think they'll both be able to land their offense. Oliveira has shown to be very hittable at times, especially in his last two title fights, and especially to the head as well. But at the same time, he mixes up his attacks so well offensively, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to land on Gaethje. Gaethje usually just stands right in front of his opponent, so he'll be there to get hit as well. Given that I think they'll both be able to land their offense, I'd have to slightly favor Gaethje in the stand-up exchanges due to his durability, and he's got a great chin as well. Oliveira has shown to be extremely resilient as of late, getting hurt and then coming back in fights, but he was dropped in both of his previous fights, so that is a bit concerning. I'll say this though, I think Oliveira throwing knees up the middle to Gaethje's body and to his head could be a big difference maker if he works them into his game plan. When it comes to the grappling, Oliveira is miles ahead of Gaethje. If the fight hits the ground, I think it's over. Even though Justin is a great scrambler, I don't think he'll have enough awareness and skill in the grappling to avoid a threatening position that will lead to a submission. The good thing about Gaethje is he's incredibly hard to take down. He's got fantastic takedown defense. And Oliveira has very good offensive wrestling, but he's not Khabib and he's not Makhachev. I think it will be tough for Oliveira to get a traditional takedown on Gaethje, but as we've seen in his previous fights, especially his last fight with Poirier, he doesn't have to take you down to get a submission. And that's what I could see happening again. I could see Oliveira getting a submission from a standing position again, whether he jumps on his opponent's back like he did in the Poirier fight and then sink in the rear naked choke, or if he does something wild like the guillotine that Ortega pulled off against Cub Swanson. When it comes to a prediction, this one's tough. I think the odds don't really reflect the competitive level of this fight. Even though the odds are pretty close, I think it should be even closer. But I'm going to have to say Oliveira wins by submission, and if I had to pick a round, I'm going to say round 3. Oliveira pushes such a fast pace, so I don't think it's likely that the fight is going to reach the later rounds 4 and 5, the championship rounds. I don't think that's likely. There's going to be a finish no matter who wins. I think that's so incredibly likely, right? Gaethje has 20 finishes out of his 23 wins as a professional, and Oliveira has 29 finishes out of his 32 wins. That's ridiculous. Both these guys are killers. This fight's going to be great. I could see Charles getting hurt like he did in his previous title fights, possibly losing the first 2 rounds, then getting the finish in the third. I know I'm not giving an extremely nuanced opinion, but I think the best thing we can go off right now is historical trends given how competitive these fights are. And look, all of Oliveira's fights as title fights, the title fights he's had, have all been very competitive. He's been hurt in those fights. He's hurt his opponent. Both opponents were in threatening positions. Both opponents put Oliveira in threatening positions. So it's a really hard one to predict. So I think the best thing to go off of is what we've seen in the past and what we've seen as of late. And what we've seen is Oliveira lose in the beginning and then come back and finish the fight quickly after and somehow change the tide pretty quickly. All right, guys, that's all I got today. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know who you guys think wins this fight. Is Oliveira going to win again, or is Gaethje going to upset the champ? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think I left out any key factors in this fight. And until next time, peace.